Okay, you guys are all good pilots. You know what you're doing, so I'll try not to gloss over the rudimentary stuff too much, but I still want to touch on it just because I think it has value. And just reminding what are the basics and what makes the Defender, how all those basics kind of move together to make the Defender one of the strongest ships once you know how to leverage all of its, everything it's got to offer with its power regen systems and its the way it can drift. So let's hop in. I'm just going to start. We're going to take a look at dead drifting. So because that is the building block that the TIE Defender kind of can leverage. Everything it's got going is based off of constant dead drift, basically. So yeah, we basically use that constantly as we're flying it. So real quick, just to go over the dead drifting and to kind of see the difference here, we'll look at a normal drift, and then we'll look at a dead drift and see what happens and how much different it handles. So here's just like a normal, we'll use the nose of the Star Destroyer, a normal drift. Kind of turn down here. We go pretty far in the Defender, but yeah, it's not too far, right? We're not making it that much further past the nose, and also for flipping around, you can flip around once and you get a little bit of pull backwards, but not too much. Compare that with a dead drift. And this is kind of your homework assignment here, is I want everyone to be able to dead drift essentially the length of a Star Destroyer in their TIE Defender. That wasn't a great one. Try that again. Here we go. So yeah, this right here is what the Defender is capable of doing. Now, okay, whatever, you drift for longer, what else does that mean? So what else that means, when we flip around like this, we can just keep moving and we can keep moving. And as you're drifting, your maneuverability is quicker, so we can like make really quick vector adjustments and then reboost. You're dead drifting, dead drifting. It's also very easy to track targets. Like we're looking at that turret there, you know. This guy right here. So that's what you're going to want to do. And that's how you're going to basically move all the time and how you basically turn all the time in a Defender. So the process for that, and this works in every ship, but it's easiest to accomplish in the Defender. So the steps here are boost, take power out of engines, hold drift. Alright, so again, boost, take power out of engines, drift. You can see our dead drift going here. So what is happening if you look at the speedometer while we dead drift here is when we pull power out of engines, our acceleration stat is way lower, and so it takes a really long time for the ship to go from its top boost speed to its normal top speed, which with the Defender out of engines I believe is 100, or no, it's fucking 70. Yeah, so that's why you have such a drastic one here, because we're going 260 to 70. I kind of screwed that up because I put power back in engines. So that's like the longest dead drift you can get, and you're not always going to be dead drifting that much of a length. What that type of dead drift is really good for is like, I use it as bait. I typically do a couple. And I spin around, and if it's like an A-wing that doesn't have ion rockets, I do a little bit of this. I just sit backwards, and if they start coming straight at me, then you can start, you know, dumping rockets, lasers, spamming shields forward, and you will just melt things. So yeah, that's really just the basic of dead drifting, how we're moving around like this. We can just, and you'll see as we're doing it, since other systems are maxed, you can see I got max laser overcharge, and what I typically do here also is in between dead drifts, I'm usually topping shields off. It's really easy with how fast things charge. We've got, you can see here, literally everything is maxed right now, and it just like takes like 4 seconds to do it. And we're also, not only is everything maxed, we're also moving these really crazy you know, you add some roll into these, and like you are so fucking hard to track. The trick is, again, don't boost again in the same vector you were going. You want to boost in a different vector from where your movement is, so that's why you kind of do these little 90-degree turns or more, you know, add roll to it. Essentially, you should be able to not die unless you're being chased by literally like 3 people. And even then, in a fleet battle, 3 people can be rough with AI damage, but in a dogfight, you should very easily be able to keep 3 people like unable to kill you like this. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is boost skipping, which is sort of what I described in the first part. It's very easy to do in the Defender just because of the way in which its systems recharge. And since you're always dead drifting, you usually have something maxed, so you're actually typically boost skipping without realizing it. I'm just going to get a new one here really quick to just zero out our systems. I guess I could have shot the lasers, but... Okay. So the idea of boost skipping is you are constantly moving while also charging your other systems. And by constantly moving, I mean boosting and drifting. So you're being really maneuverable, really hard to hit, and also charging things up. So let's take a look. And so what that entails is you have to make sure you are charging enough engines to keep a boost going while you're charging everything. It's very easy, and so you can do this indefinitely in any ship, but it is very easy to do in Defender, again, due to how fast it's all its components charge. So let's just take a look at how fast we can charge our shields while boost skipping here. So you're going to see I'm charging shields, my boost starts to drain, and then I go power back into engines mid-drift, so I get that boost back. Again, I'm not even really touching much of it here, like we can let it sit a little bit longer. But you can see my shields are already charged, and because the Defender regens, like as soon as I take that power back into engines, it just immediately tops itself back up. We can just keep this going for a really long time. Charge our lasers really fast. So, I mean, this is basically how you're flying a Defender already by chaining dead drifts. It just naturally charges everything so fast you don't have to worry much about skipping. Let's run out of our boost real quick and try and keep a lower boost amount here to show the skip. So you can see drops, back up, drops, back up, drops, drops slowly, back up. But that's the general idea. You can see here we got, again, full charged everything. Alright, we're going to get in there quick, and we're going to boost Gasp to charge everything. I'm going to pop our APS now just because it'll be up by the time we need it again. And there we go. We're charged, and we're in. So yeah, notice here when I'm jousting, I'm spamming forward, and then as soon as I'm done, I balance again. And pretty much any time I take damage, I balance. It's because your shields are essentially your effective health. You don't have much hull to work with, obviously. Yeah, you can just see here, I'm just chaining the boosts to get it lined up smoother. Don't want to try and shoulder check. We don't have enough hull, especially against an X-Wing. See, I'm boost gasping here because it's going to be quicker than just doing a straightforward. Oh, okay. We have to go to that support ship. Another support ship. So yeah, just right there, how I won that joust with the turret shooting at me was just, again, constant spam forward on my shields to just constantly move whatever extra power I have in the back to cover that power in the front where I'm taking the fire. Two support ships. So yeah, sometimes when I do those long dead drifts backwards, if whoever you're fighting is not running ion rockets or potentially ion primaries if they have rockets as an ox, if they take that joust, you win every single one except against like bombers with rotaries and again like A-wings with ion rockets. It's always good if you have the second to try and bait with that move. Just pull all the way back here. This X-Wing right here is trying to joust me. Also APSing during that joust on the shields. Since I had the mark there. But you can see I still end with quite a bit of shields. Most good players won't take a joust, but sometimes you can still get people in fleet battles with that. Everybody swap to an A-wing. So yeah, you're seeing too, like, when I'm aiming, I'm just dead drifting, and like, it's just so much easier because you can really take the time to line up your shots. Yes, you're moving in a straight line, but you're still moving while taking those really accurate shots. And you're moving off of you're aimed off of a different vector than where you're moving. So if you decide to boost out of it, because again, you're moving in a straight line, which can be vulnerable. But if someone picks you up, if you just boost really quick, you're going to be moving differently from where they're leading. So it's just pretty safe in general to take those long shots like I'm taking, where I just stay in the dead drift to line up my accuracy here. Just like that. It's just like so smooth and consistent. And it's just like really easy to line up shots when you're doing that. There he goes, taking the bait.
Absolutely not.
Again, just moving across the map using boost skipping, boost grasping. Yeah, we didn't even use the rockets there because he wasn't shooting rockets at me. It just didn't even need it. And that's pretty much it. Again, that was a pretty easy match for just like one. It wasn't even that good, but Spectre was a really good pilot, but just to demonstrate how you're applying those concepts during combat.